Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Safer Together. I'm Indiana Borough Police Chief Justin Shaw, and this podcast, as you know, is all about building trust, how we form relationships to keep everyone safe, and how we share information with each other. And so today we're going to explore school safety. And I know that this is going to be a great conversation. We have great partners in school safety. We appreciate every opportunity that we get in Indiana Borough to work with our school district. And so it is my distinct pleasure and honor to introduce two of the finest folks in school safety platform. To my immediate left, for anyone that might be watching this, is Bubba Fatula. And I'm going to let him introduce himself here in a few seconds and tell you what his position is in school safety. And to his left and to my far left is Steve Ignatz with Bramlett Enterprises, which is also very closely integrated into the school safety platform. And these guys both have, I know them to both have exceptional backgrounds. And I know we just want to say that our Indiana community is very blessed to have both of them and their organizations working for the safety of our kids. And guys, I say this as full disclosure, the father of 3 children. I have 2 kids currently at Indiana High School this year, and my wife and I's daughter graduated from Indiana High School 2 years ago. It will be. So I'm completely invested. And so, Bubba, let's just start with you. If you would just, so everyone knows, introduce yourself in any way that you'd like to. But I would like for anyone listening just to know a little bit about your background, both personally and professionally, just so that they know the caliber of people that I'm telling them that you are is absolutely what it is.
Well, yeah, thank you, Chief, for having me. What a great opportunity and honor it is to be here. My name is Bubba Fatula. I am the owner and president of the Fatula Group. We are a safety and security company. We consult in safety and security for businesses and churches and schools and sports teams across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and through states throughout the United States. My background is in law enforcement. I've spent about 25 years in law enforcement total. I was a police detective for many years. It was my job to investigate crime. I worked undercover narcotics for many years. And those scenarios, Chief, as you know, put me in places that I had to deal with crisis, where people were in a bad way, and we had to have plans and procedures and protocols on how we were going to do the things we were going to do. So I brought that world into the safety and security world of owning this business, and now I bring that information to schools.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I know that we work closely together, and I'm going to appreciate an opportunity to move that forward here throughout the conversation. But so, Steve, can you do the same introduction for who you are and the type of person that you are, and what brings you to this platform?
Sure thing, Chief. First of all, it's a pleasure to be here with you today. You and the Indiana Borough Police Department's dealing with the school districts for the continued safety of the students is greatly appreciated, and knowing that you have a couple students of your own there, I'm sure makes it even more so that you're 100% committed to and invested in keeping the school district safe. And as far as me, I spent my career in law enforcement. I actually started as a municipal police officer in 1982. I know that's hard to believe, given that I have such thick and lustrous hair at this point in my life. But I started in 1982 as a municipal law enforcement officer, and eventually worked for the Pennsylvania State Police, working for them for more than 36 years. I've served in different parts of the state, and retired as a major as the director of the Municipal Police Officers Education and Training Commission in Harrisburg. So in that position, I was able to work with municipal officers and departments across the state for various functions, and to ensure that municipal police departments receive the best training that we could possibly offer. Personally, I live in Ford City. I have 3 adult children. My oldest is a major in the United States Marine Corps station in California. My middle son is a anesthetist. He lives in Butler County. And my youngest son is a pulmonologist who lives near Hershey, Pennsylvania. I've been doing this job with Bramlett for a little over 3 years, Once I retired, my old friend Mike Bramlett, the owner of the company, cornered me and asked me to come to work for him. And I put that off for about a year and a half, and finally he made me an offer I couldn't refuse, giving me a little bit of freedom to do this job in school security. And not just school security, but we do some other things too. We do corporate security. We do private protection for executives, and we've done some work for political candidates over the years. And it's been a very good job. We employ basically retired police officers, corrections officers, and military personnel. And being that Mike is a veteran and the company is a veteran-owned company, we're proud to employ our veterans in our security world.
Well, that's fantastic, and I appreciate both of you sharing a little bit of that background. And I think what's important, Bubba, I know that your son is in law enforcement too, right? So this is we're all firmly vested, I think.
Yeah, he's a rookie, right,
Yeah.
Chief? He's got a couple years in now, but it's in his blood. So I wanted him to be HVAC, Chief, but
Yeah.
he decided he was going to be in law enforcement. So there we are.
Well, I'll tell you, they're both good careers. I probably wanted to be in both of them at certain times during my tenure here at the police department. But so just so anyone listening would know, again, I'm Justin Shaw. I'm the chief of police here in Indiana, Pennsylvania. I've served Indiana community for 24 years. I'm working towards my 25th. I've been your chief for 6 years, and the whole platform of this podcast, and then I appreciate you listening so much. But the whole platform of this podcast is that we're all safer when we work together, and so it bears weight to have Steve and Bubba in the room, because school safety just isn't the one person job. It's not a one entity job. It is a holistic approach to keeping our kids safe. And guys, I think that if you don't agree with this next statement that I'm going to make sure that you call me out on it. But I think that nothing would fundamentally impact our communities more than an incident of school tragedy. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. We've seen what it's done in the past to other communities when these scenarios happen at schools, whether someone has a gun or a knife, and really what it comes to, and we're going to talk about, is what plans do we really have? What kind of partnerships have we built? What kind of training have we done? And can we start the healing immediately in the aftermath?
Yeah, but I know the Fatula Group, just from knowing you and from collaborating with you, I know that the entirety of that process is important. And Steve, I would say this, and I think that this bears a lot of weight, that being a retired major in the Pennsylvania State Police and having purview over municipal police training, you've decided to spend your time, and I'm certain that it's valuable, in the area of school safety and safety. So I think that it would come to no surprise to me that you would agree that the safety of our students and your work at Bramlett is extremely important.
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly. And my work is behind the scenes administrative stuff, but the people we employ are absolutely top notch. They care, they're invested in the schools, and they genuinely like working with the school administration, the local police departments, and the students to keep them safe, keep the faculty and visitors to the school district safe, and to give them the feeling that they are in a secure learning environment at all times.
Well, it's completely evident, and it's evident from my point of view. I'm like you. I'm largely administrative, so I see the behind the scenes working, not so much the everyday working. But I can tell you, and I want to just be very sincere and certain that I address this. In Indiana School District, you employ some of the greatest people that I know. And the way that they interact with students, faculty, staff, and the police department is beyond what I think most folks would realize. And so I get to see it as police chief, but I'm going to just call them out by name because I think it's important. And so there's Mr. Stan Webb at the senior high. There's Mike Jormino at the junior high. There's Joe Clement at East Pike. There's Neil Stuchel at what was Horseman. I'm sure that'll be Eisenhower. I mean, these folks, and then there's a slew of folks that are filling in from time to time. But those folks specifically, they not only are what I would consider guardians of the school doors and hallways, and certainly the first level of response to an emergent situation. But they're personable people. They're people that care deeply, and it shows. And I will tell you, and I'll tell our community wholeheartedly that that's important to have that relationship, for my kids to be able to trust the folks that are protecting them in school, for the folks in the school to not be nameless, to not be in the shadows, but to be front and center, to be outside at dismissal and at arrival. I mean, those are important things. I mean, are you teaching that, or are these people just that good? I know that they got local connections, but
honestly, they were not taught that. They just know how to interact with people, and we really pride ourselves in having people that, across the board, whichever district we're in, we have people there that are high-fiving the kids, welcoming them to be there in the morning, and congratulating on them when they're doing good jobs. So, we're really proud of that.
I want to make sure that everyone knows too that we in law enforcement, we in safety, we can be both engaging and endearing, and we can be technically proficient and highly skilled. I think that it is a false narrative that if you see someone who's friendly, that means that we are somehow lackadaisical or that we don't care. I think it's a high level of service when you can both be technically proficient and also engaging. And your folks do it. They do it very well, and couldn't be more pleased. And Bubba, I turning to you, you sit in a lot of meetings that we sit in, and your approach, and you are, the Fatula Group, and at least in Indiana, you are front and center in everything that the Fatula Group does, even though I know that you're not the only employee of your organization. But, as leading that organization and as being present, I just want you to know too that being able to have you as a contact, a close contact, to be able to talk, to be able to pick up the phone, for us to be able to collaborate with the school district to say, hey, this feels right, this doesn't feel right, this is maybe something we should focus on, this isn't something that we should focus on. It's really invaluable. And so I really truly appreciate the way that you're willing to engage with the faculty, staff, and students at the school too. And so why don't you just, I know some of the things you do in the school, but how about you let people know what Fatula Group's doing in the schools? And it doesn't just have to be Indiana school. Just let's speak generally for a second.
Sure, and thank you, because I appreciate that partnership too. For us to be able to call each other, text each other, and say, "Listen, we have a problem. Let's solve it. Let's close the door and get it right," and whatever that may be. That's when things get done. And if I could just add. Yeah, top-notch. Major said top-notch employees, and that's what they have. Yeah. I go to a lot of schools. I go to a lot of counties, and I see who they're putting in, schools and asking them to be the armed guards and professionals in there. And there is no doubt Bramlett is doing a wonderful job on who they're hiring, who they're putting out there, and the roles they're playing in Indiana Area School District. So kudos to you guys and what you're doing with the people that you're hiring, because they're the right ones. So the Fatula Group, we are, as I stated, a safety and security company. We're going into these schools, and we're trying to take the load off of the school. They have to wear so many hats today. They are asking administrators and staff members, the Commonwealth, saying, okay, we have all these guidelines and all these laws, and when it comes to safety and security, and here are the mandates, and you must meet this by this time and this date, and have so many hours of training. And what happens is schools and everyone else, they assign someone that job, chief, and then it's just another hat.
Yep.
So yet they still have a job to do. So all of a sudden, they were hired to do a job description, and they don't want to be bad at that or lack at that position. So they find themselves putting safety and security in the background sometimes, not because they don't find it important. Yep. It's just because it's so overwhelming to them. So my company comes in and says, listen, let's take that burden off of you. Let us keep up with the dates and the mandates and the requirements, and give you the safety verbiage that you need, and tell you what you should disseminate, and all these policies and procedures and protocols and practices. Let us do all the work. Let us sit down around the table monthly and meet with the safety team and discuss how we're going to do A, B, and C. Let us do all the work as far as that. And then they feel more comfortable saying, okay, I don't have to lay my head on a pillow at night worried about, am I supposed to have this by next month? Is this what I need by the end of the school year? We do that for them.
Yeah.
And as we do it all together, it just seems to be a well-oiled machine at Indiana Area School District.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good when we can all work in our own lanes, even though they cross and they intersect, and sometimes they run parallel. But this is my point, that Indiana School District is safer because of the Indiana Borough Police Department, Fatula Group, Bramlett Security, and all of our partners working together. It's not that there are so many things to worry about.
Yeah.
I worry about them all, and I'm sure that you guys do too. It doesn't bode well for my sleep at night. But the one thing that I've never worried about, and the one thing that I will not worry about, is that there are folks working very hard to keep our school students safe, my kids included, which is why, one of the things that I can sleep well at night. It's a daunting task. There are so many people, so many folks who are intent on causing harm. There are so many ways for us to, not us, but our society to trip up, to make bad decisions. And, we're not immune, of course, to that, but that, to truly talk about safety and well-being of our students, it has to be a team effort. And so it's really important. One of the things that I want to make sure that I say, make sure that everyone at home knows, is that from my point of view, one of the best things that we started doing, and started doing more, I will say, because it wasn't that we weren't doing it, but training together.
Yeah.
I feel like that makes a world of difference when we understand how each other is going to plug in, and for the school district and staff to understand what an event might look and feel like. It doesn't have to be the most serious event, but when the police department is going to come into the school, what does that look like? What does that feel like? Can we raise anxiety during a training enough to where we're all uncomfortable? And when we're all uncomfortable, then we can start growing. And then we can start understanding, I'd rather make a mistake in a environment of training than to not think about something in the moment of impact. And so I just want to make sure that everyone knows, and some of the things that we're doing. But so we're training at the school, and not only are we training at the school with police officers, we're training with staff. We're also training with the Fatula Group. We're also training with the security guards that are in those schools. And so we're working together, and it's an incredible thing. And Bubba, you and I we've actually been in out of county training. You and I ended up in Pittsburgh for a few trainings, and so when we're on the same page, I think that it not only does it lower tension for the folks around us, but it lowers the tension for our people who are doing the job that they need to do in that moment of impact. Do you guys have any thoughts on training or joint training that you've experienced?
Yeah, you're right, Chief. As I travel these schools, I make it a point to continually say, we don't know what we don't know. And I don't mean that ignorantly when I go to schools, but they don't have the background that law enforcement has. What we have to do, what you have to do upon entering a school when someone has a gun or a knife and your job is to detain, contain, or eliminate that threat, is totally different what they see from an armed guard every day. These armed professionals are walking to schools, and Indiana Area School District is so fortunate to have them on site, because seconds are precious when things go bad. Yeah. But when we train together, when the three entities here train together like we have and continue to do, the staff gets to sit back and go, oh, I see what this really is. Now I understand what their job is. I see them every day, and we shake hands and have pleasantries and say hello, but I understand why they're here now. They're here on our worst day. They're here for our worst day. And when they get to see both of your entities do that together, there's an understanding that there is a second phase to this. And that's where the professionalism comes in. And when you have good people like your police department and your security company, when these entities all come together, we like to say that see something, say something means something in schools. And what it means is that kids are comfortable enough to go up to someone and say, listen, Here's what I seen on the bus. Jimmy has a gun. There's a knife. Whatever all that may be. That's the environment that's being built when everyone works together.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. Steve, do you want to talk maybe a little bit about how Bramlett, how folks should perceive the security in their schools, and when Bramlett is in the school, what can people expect from and students, teachers, staff, anyone really? What do you expect of the people that are in our schools?
Sure. When we think back 10 or 15 years ago, and the thought of armed security people in schools, 10 or 15 years ago, people would have looked at you like you had two heads. Now, it's across the state, it's required, but more importantly, it's there for a reason, and the reason is the bad things that have happened across not just the United States, but around the world. Bad people are out there every day, and they're scheming and they're plotting, and you never know when they're going to show their ugly heads. So when it comes to the schools, people should look at the security just like a big dog tied up to the front porch. Hopefully that dog's not going to bite anybody, but if it has to, it will.
Okay.
And I think that's how we look at ourselves. We hope we're never called into action for anything. All of this training is important for that very reason, that what might happen down the road, but we hope to never use it. Yeah. And I think the people who visit the schools, the students at the schools, should just look at armed security officers in their schools, just like a blackboard or a video projector. It's just part of the educational process, and it's there if they need it. But hopefully, it will never come to that.
Yeah, that's really well said. So, Bubba, I'll turn this over. To you. How do you've hit on it a little bit with the whole of safety approach, which is training in advance, and I know it to be the things that happen after action. But maybe in your own words, just let folks know what the Fotola Group is doing in schools and what you consider your main function to be.
Yes, we kind of break it down into three phases: the before, the during, and the after. Because we believe if you can have plans for those three phases, when things go wrong, if you have a before, let's be proactive. What do we have to put together? So the Fotola Group helps schools, businesses, churches, and sports teams with that. We say, okay, what can we do to be proactive before things ever happen to prevent them? Mm-hmm. And we implement those things. And then we say, okay, we know some things happen. No matter what we're ever going to do, some people might get through the door. Some people might bring, unauthorized weapons and things in schools and businesses. So how are we going to respond when somebody does pull a knife, when they do pull a gun, when a bomb threat goes off? That's the during. What will be our verbiage? How will we disseminate it over the mic? If we can't get to a mic, how will we tell other people that we need to do something about it? And then there's the after. That's when we all come together and we train and we build incident command teams and emergency operations centers, and we say, what's the plan for the aftermath so we can bring all of this back together and start the healing? So that's what we really try to focus on at the Fotola Group, is the before, the during, and the after.
Yep, and that, yes. So I guess here's where I'd like to come off with how this all works for Indiana Borough's safety with you guys. It brings me great comfort to know that we have security officers at every school. It also brings me comfort to know that we are thinking about the before, we are thinking about the during, and we are thinking about the after, in the hopes and the expectation that we're never going to have to deal with that. And just as you guys are positioned, the Indiana Borough Police Department, I'm extremely proud of our effort too. And so I just want to make sure that our community knows that our partnership with the school district is strategic and comprehensive. Like our partners, we want to be there for everyone. We care tremendously about everyone. Our effort at the school is really it's a multifaceted approach, and this is really the core. What I hope to do with the police department, guys, is to take our kindergarten and pre-K students by the hand, to introduce them to the officers protecting their community, to build a trust level with them as they move through grade school into the junior high and into the senior high atmosphere, so that when there is something that's brewing in their world, when there is a discomfort, when there is an issue at home, when there is an issue at the school, that that they will have a comfort level with the police department to say something. And there are things that we that no municipal police department or really any police department can spend full time doing. And some of these things are doing with ease. And those are the ways that I really appreciate the things that you're both doing to plug in for the Indiana Area School District, because our teachers and students need to be prepped on safety things, on everything safety. And, there needs to be a presence, in my opinion, my humble opinion, in our schools. There needs to be a presence of someone that can immediately subdue a threat. And then there has to be a relationship with the police department where, we can be monitoring the school 24 hours a day. We can be knowing the students will know us. When we show up at a sporting event, not only do we know that there's a sound plan in place that students, faculty, and staff have, but we know that there are going to be folks boots on the ground there that are going to be able to be a first line, maybe the only line of defense there. And then when the police department plugs in, now we have multiple layers, multiple people. We all know each other. Knowing each other is such a big deal because, we can say a lot of things about a lot of things, but being in positive relationship with each other is a public safety approach. And I mean that with full sincerity. There's nothing more that there's no greater task I think that we have than to be in a relationship with each other to promote a safe atmosphere. And you guys do that exceedingly well, and I appreciate you very much and the work that you do. And I don't know that there are two finer people out there in the world of school safety, but I know that their staffs are even better than they are. And I hope that, and that's probably what people would say about me, I hope, because my staff is certainly in all ways the most important part of the Indiana Borough Police Department. I'm just honored to be able to have a part in it. So, guys, is there anything else that you'd like to say before we take a little break, and then we're going to come back with something a little bit non-traditional?
All right. If I could just add, Chief, you've built the blueprint. You really have for the counties around you. And I tell schools when I go there, I say, listen, go look at Indiana Area School District. Go look at the local police. Go see what the police chief has done, because the partnership that you have made with this school district will save lives. And there is no doubt about that. We hope the day never comes. But the things that lead up to the madness that we have to deal with, I hope that what you've built here with all these partnerships and how your officers interact already at these schools, first name basis, the dog comes in and these kids stop. They love your officers. So there is no doubt. I've been doing this for many years now, and what you have done will save lives. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate that very much. Steve, is there anything you'd like to end with?
Yeah, I have to agree with Bubba 100%. In the times I've been at the Indiana School District, your officers have been driving by, waving, interacting with the staff and the students, and it's just so important in this day and age that everyone recognizes that law enforcement is there to help.
Yep.
And it's clear that you have conveyed that message not only to your department, but the people of Indiana can rest assured knowing that that's what's going on here.
Well, guys, I appreciate it, and I'm glad we got that out of the way before the second half of this segment. So let's just take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with something a little fun. Thanks.
Ready to make a difference? The Indiana Borough Police Department is looking for dedicated individuals who are community-oriented and ready to serve. Join a team that values peace, safety, and comfort. Looking for a new career and want to give back? Be more than a badge and protector. Be a part of Indiana Borough's future.
I promised you something a little outside the box and a little fun, and so here it is. So what I want us to do is I want all of us to have an opportunity to give a shameful plug. And so shameful plug. Why do I call it I guess it's a shameless plug. So a shameless plug. I don't want you to feel bad about who you plug. We understand we can't give everybody an acknowledgement, but just one or two folks who have done something that have been deserving. So I'm going to start on this one. And so school safety segment. Here's my shameless plug of the day. I really want to give a sincere kudos to former Indiana Superintendent Mike Vukovich and current Indiana Superintendent Rob Heinrich. These two have done a phenomenal job for our students, and they care tremendously about school safety. They take our input seriously. They are willing to be responsive to our safety requests. They are they were consummate professionals. The school district is in great hands, and so I just wanted to give both of them a shout out here today. So, Bubba, you have, or Steve, who?
Yeah, great shout out, Chief. I would have taken them if you didn't. However, you know, when you do this business, sometimes other people in our profession do similar things. And sometimes that can end ugly, and we don't want it to. So my shout out is to Tactical Threat Solutions.
Okay.
It is a company that works out of Cambria County. However, they are former police, they are former first responders, and they do the same thing that we do. They're out there making sure that they keep people safe and secure in today's crazy world. And they came up with a device called Emergency EOP Assistant that helps people with their emergency operation plans on the go and mobile. And instead of butting heads, we work together to make sure that these schools can utilize that to keep them safe. So I appreciate that we can work together even though we do the same thing.
Awesome. Great. Thanks. Steve?
Yeah, Chief, thank you for the opportunity. And my shout out sort of goes in a different direction, but it goes to a fellow a long time ago saw the necessity to engage law enforcement with children, because at the time that wasn't a popular thing. And he came up with the concept of the State Police Camp Cadet program. And his name is Al Vish. He's a retired trooper, and I'm proud to call him a friend of mine. I still help out with the Camp Cadet program in Armstrong County, but it's a program that's spread across the state over the last 50 plus years.
Yeah.
And, you know, he has made a lot of changes in the way police deal with young people and the way young people interact with the police. And I think that's important, more important now than ever. So that's my shout out. Al Bush, wonderful, wonderful fella.
Well, guys, thanks for seeing me through to this point in time. So here's what we're going to do next, okay? I have a wheel. It's a question wheel. And I'm going to bring it up to the table, and I'm going to ask each of you to spin it. It's going to land on a question. What I'd like you to do is to read the question out loud so that we all know what the question is, and then I'd just like you to answer the question. And, you know, we're building relationships here, and we're proving that we're all safer together. And so this is just one of those things. We're all facing non-traditional environments today, and we can't combat a non-traditional environment with the things that we've always done and the ways that we've always done them. And so I just wanted to get a little outside the box here. And so here we go. Here's the question wheel. I'm not going to tell which one of you needs to spin it first, but you guys decide amongst yourselves, and I'll spin it last. So
Major, you want me to go?
Go ahead.
All right, sir. So the question is, what are you grateful for?
okay, there we go.
Well, that's a pretty easy one. So every day I thank my Lord that I have the wife and the son and the daughter that I have. And I know that sounds, ooh, everybody has that answer. But the truth is, without 23 years of marriage to the girl that I fell in love with, and through the years, my son and daughter, what they've given me back, I couldn't be more grateful. There's nothing that can happen to me tomorrow. My company could fail and we could never make another dollar. I could live in a trailer or on the street, but the truth is, I will always be grateful for what the Lord has given me as far as my family. So I'm glad you gave me the opportunity. I love that question.
Well, awesome. I hope I don't get that question to have to follow that. So there you go.
Is the Indiana Borough Police Chief the most handsome man you've ever seen?
I'm so hopeful that ended up as a question.
Actually, it says, what does your future hold?
There you go.
My future holds continuing to work for the Bramblett Enterprises company for the time being. I enjoy my job very much right now, but my future probably holds doing more with my grandchildren. As I mentioned earlier, my son's in the Marine Corps, and his family lives on the West Coast right now. So I do spend some time there now, but in the future I'd like to do more of that. And also with my other kids and their future families dealing with what they do.
All right. That's awesome. I don't want to follow that either. So here we go. Let's see what happens. Oh gosh. Okay. What is the best piece of advice you've ever received? And okay, so I know I do have an answer to this question. The best piece of advice that I ever received, the best piece of advice that I ever received professionally was this: be great at the moment that you're in. Don't worry about the moment that you're not in. And when you're great, when you work to be great at the moment that you're in, the appropriate doors will open up for everything else. And I got that advice as I was studying for a corporal's exam, actually, at the police department. And, a lot of folks get asked, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? And the advice that I was given was, I sincerely want you to be able to say that you want to be great wherever you're at. Be as great as you possibly can at wherever you're at in 5 years. So the best piece of advice that I was given, and a piece of advice that I'm happy to pass on, is that, looking into the future is a tough thing. And, but if we focus on what it means to be great in the moment that we're in, we will have the necessary and right doors open up for us in the future. So just try to be the best that we can be in the moment that we're in, is a very solid piece of advice that I received. So, gentlemen, I really, really appreciate you walking through this with me. So, yeah, I just want to close by. I know the answer to this, and if you don't, I will give it. But if someone wanted to get in touch with Bramlett Security, how would they do that?
We have a website, www.bramlettenterprises.com. There's contact information on there. We're always looking for people that care and would like to be involved with our security firm. So feel free to look us up.
Thank you. And Bubba, how about the Fatula Group? How would we get in touch?
Yeah, same. You can find us online, Chief, at thefatulagroup.com, and that's FATULA.com. Or you can give me a call directly at 814-915-0896.
Yeah, okay. And then I'll just close this out with the police department and emergency 911. We also have a presence online and social media, Indiana Borough Police Department, Facebook. And we have a non-emergency phone number, 724-349-2121. So, gentlemen, thank you for spending some time with me today. We really are the working definition of being safer together, because this is a best possible approach to school safety. And although each of our entities are strong on their own, I firmly believe that together we create something that is not only a bit non-traditional, but also is vitally important and can maintain a higher level of safety than could otherwise be attained if we were going it alone. So just a sincere thank you. And to everyone listening at home, I just want you to know that your feedback is as important to this process as anything else is. So if you enjoyed this episode, if you have some feedback for us, if there's anything that you'd like, a thumbs up, like us on social media, or however we're putting this out when you're watching it, and you can catch future podcasts. We're glad to deliver it. So until next time, stay safe, care for each other, treat each other well, and thank you so much as we continue to work together for Indiana safety.
Cut.